I'm Chip Townsend, and this is the Team Chip Podcast. I only get back about 50% from the students of what I give them. I'm unprepared, I'm unprofessional, I don't know what to do with you, and the plan alleviates that. It's kind of the rising tide raises all the boats, man. We all need to be our best because we all reflect on each other. All right, guys, welcome back to the Team Chip Podcast. I am very excited to be back with you today. Today, we're going to talk about kind of 5 parts, 5 pieces, 5 things, 5 steps maybe to help you to make your classes great. 5 things to kind of think about, put your head around to make an amazing class. Because remember, in the martial arts world, everything revolves around the mat, really. I mean, I hate to say it, but I know we talk about the dichotomy of business. There's the mat, there's the office, and they all have to work together. And that is so true. But at the end of the day, you can have the best business practices in the world and the best marketing and all of these things. But if the service, the classes are not amazing and don't deliver, none of the rest of it matters. Your business practices aren't going to rescue you. It really comes down to the core, the passion, the technical skill that's happening out on that mat, right? So 5 things today to kind of think about around having great classes. It's great classes, they start with energy. You've got to be energetic. They drive referrals. They drive retention. They drive just the core of what we do, which is creating hopefully world-class martial artists. And again, I kind of beat that up a little bit, but I think it's just so important. So thing number 1, have a plan. Have a class plan. It is unbelievable how many people I talk to that teach off the hip. And there's 2 sides to this coin. I've taught many classes off the hip. But anytime I go somewhere to teach a seminar or now for years, I'm going in to teach a class, I lay out some sort of plan. I write it out. I have it in my head. I know where that plan is at. And I will say too, on the idea of plan, if you have a team more than just you're more than a solopreneur, you've got some assistant instructors, put that plan on paper and make sure that they know the plan because they need that plan as well. So they kind of know what to expect and they're not caught off guard. But I can't believe how many people I talk to, they go, yeah, I don't really do class plans. I just teach. And I go, wow. So what we kind of tend to do when we just go out there and teach is we tend to fall into a rut of kind of doing the same old, the same things we've been doing. And it can be rutty. It can get flat. So having a plan that you're confident in and that and then you stay on, make sure you stay on the plan. That is so important. You can't deviate from the plan. Now, there is a caveat to that. You do need to be flexible with your plan sometimes because sometimes we do have a plan worked out and we come in and this plan is not really fitting the day. It's not serving the need that I really needed to hit on. I missed the mark of my plan. There's room for flexibility and some deviation, but that comes from emotional intelligence, knowing where your students are, maybe and learning their curriculum material up to this point, and wisely knowing I might need to make a quick adjustment and shoot off the hip a little bit. But the big point is have a plan and make sure that plan is well thought out. You've put some heart into it, and when you come in with a plan that you believe in, you understand, and you're prepared to present, you do it more confidently and you'll lead a more energetic and passionate class. And not to mention, if you put hard work into your plan, you're kind of excited to share it. Like, you don't share the outline, but what's in the meat of that plan, you're ready to share. So number 2, I've beat up plan a lot. Make sure you have a plan. Again, it's so important that we have a plan. Step 2, part 2, piece 2, mindset, get your head in the right space, check yourself before you wreck yourself, that kind of thing. Understand, gosh, guys, we are so blessed to get to run our own business and teach martial arts, something that we're so passionate about that does so much for so many. It's such a blessing. If you're getting to a point where you're coming in going, I have to teach class today, this is another thing, watch your language. I get the privilege of, I get the honor of. Just watch your mindset and make sure you're prepared to go in and teach well. We in our schools and in the Team Chip organization talk to people about, hey, put your problems in your shoes, leave them on the shelf for an hour, focus on you, get stronger, get better, go out and better handle the problems. We've got to personify that. If you're having a rough day, you need to get that cleared up before you get on the mat with your people. So mindset is huge. Making sure you're in the right place. And remember, families are choosing you over other things. And, in today's society, it's easier than ever to pick something that's maybe a little less expensive or something that's easier. Not as much hard work, right? That my kid can do. Our biggest competition is not necessarily the martial arts school down the street. It's the activity down the street that's easier, right? Something or maybe perceived as more fun, right? So, man, get your mindset right before you step on the mat. And the reason I'm kind of talking about that piece about they could choose someone else is you should be so grateful and so thankful that you're blessed to have people choose you. That in and of itself should make you feel amazing about stepping on that mat and teaching a great class. So again, and one of the other ways that I encourage our team all the time to get their mind right and get themselves straight is we have an instructor creed. We have a student oath, we have student creeds, we have an instructor creed, then we theme things sometimes. But for us, and I will say, I took years ago with Dave Kovar's approval, the instructor creed he had kind of developed, and I used that core to edit it and make kind of our own personal instructor creed for our instructors many, many years ago. And so when you hear this, it's going to sound familiar, but ours goes, and I ask the instructors, go through this in your head before you step on the mat, especially if you're having a rough day. I will teach this class like it is the most important class I will ever teach. I am courteous, patient, and enthusiastic. I am strong, and I lead by example. I empower people through the pursuit of personal martial arts excellence by creating world-class martial artists, with a servant's heart and a beginner's mind. That's our instructor creed. It's a little long, and it may feel a little heavy, but I think it's really important. I'm committing to myself that I will teach this class like it is the most important. I tell my instructors, pretend like this is the last class you ever get to teach. How do you want it to hit? Do you want it to be a home run, or do you want to be flat and flail? Remind yourself, I'm courteous. I am patient. I am enthusiastic in what I teach here. And if we're truly passionate martial artists and passionate about what it does, the enthusiasm should be relatively easy. Relatively. I know we have off days. The patience can be difficult. The challenging little students that question, push, or maybe it's that older student that just digs in all the time and asks really difficult questions. It's okay. They're trying to learn and grow, and we invite questions. And as a matter of fact, the questions they ask will just sharpen you if you take the time to really think through them. And remind yourself that you're courteous and impatient. Courteous and patient, not impatient. Courteous and patient at all times. I lead by example, demonstrate, detail, and drill. I can't say this enough. Demonstrate things in a way that inspire people. And then that last piece, we really kind of took our motto of empowering people through the pursuit of personal martial art, of their pursuit of personal martial arts excellence. And we kind of use that just to recenter ourselves and remember this is about us serving them and empowering them and helping them to be their best. And we add that caveat of having a servant's heart. The servant leadership, lead by serving. It's such a powerful concept when we get our head around it. And then with a beginner's mind, get rid of the ego, come in with an open slate and learn well. So we use the instructor creed, and it can help a lot if you have a set creed or a set mantra that you kind of go through before you go on the mat to get your mindset right. So step 1, have a plan, stick to the plan, be strong on the plan. Step 2 or part 2, get your mind right before you get on the mat and either have a killer class or a failure class because your mind wasn't right and you fail the students for the day. Then the next piece is that first minute or so of class, start with a bang, start on a high. I call this bouncing a class. It's going high energy, fast paced, good answer, good response, a lot of yelling and movement in the room. And then the bounce is then we cycle it down. But in that first minute or 2 of class, you want to be high energy, grab their attention, get them excited, command with your presence, make eye contact with people, and pre-frame the class in that lineup. Okay, guys, everybody line up. You guys are about to have the most amazing class you've had all week, maybe all month or all year. It's going to be awesome. Let's get this going. Remember, never enter into a class by going, guys, I've got some amazing technical stuff, but it's so hard. It's going to be killer for you. You just shut their minds down. Come in with, this is about to be the best thing you've ever done. And be happy. Be sincerely happy. Remember that blessing to get to be there. Be happy that you're there. And be confident in everything that you say. And I don't mean fake the confidence, but because you're a martial artist, because you've practiced it, believe what you say and believe in what you're doing, and that will come across with a sincere confidence, which is really powerful. But in that first few minutes, command the room, get the energy going, get them fired up, pre-frame them as going to be having an amazing class. And remember, one little caveat here, we teach this in the Teamship organization. We call it the 50% rule. You may hear me talk about it more in these podcasts, but I believe over time that I only get back about 50% from the students of what I give them. And so people find this hard to believe sometimes, but if I go teach classes all afternoon and I wear my Apple Watch, a lot of times I'll turn on like a workout just so I can kind of track my heart rate and stuff while I teach. And if I teach for 4 to 5 hours, I can honestly burn somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 calories. It's crazy. And people are like, how do you do that? I'm not even sure how I do it. I think it's just, I'm just so passionate. I just love so much what I get to do that I'm in and I'm going and I'm energetic. And it's, my point in that is I want to pour out so hard that if you are only giving me 50% back, that's a big 50%, and I'm challenging you and I'm moving you forward. So just remember, start that first few minutes of the class with a bang. So have a plan, get your mind set right, and then when the core class starts, start it on fire, start it with a smile, start it with energy, and pre-frame it really well. Then the core of the class happens. This is where the plan kicks in. Have the plan in your mind. Stick to the plan. Follow that and make sure you're hitting their curriculum that they need to learn for their levels, and that you're doing it in a way that's fun. And remember, and when I say fun, people can struggle with that, especially in the old school kind of traditional martial arts sense, like it's about work, it's about the grind. I understand, but people stick with things they enjoy. We remember things better when we learn them happy than when we learn them beat up and sad, right? And so there's a difference in fun and funny. Getting funny and letting things get out of hand and everybody's cracking jokes and laughing, and you lose the mojo of the room. Fun is the right comment at the right time to get people to smile. Fun is throwing in a fun drill that directly relates to that curriculum that you're teaching. You're in a heavy sparring cycle where you're really working on footwork, distance, and movement. Throwing some noodle sparring. It's fun. It adds an extension to their arm. It changes the dynamic of the distance management and the movement. So that's what I mean by fun. Make sure that the drills stay light and fun as much as you can without becoming a grind. I've told my students for years, if you come to my school and this is a tough balance, I think, to strike sometimes, because they are learning curriculum and they have to repeat and they have to be able to demonstrate that curriculum. It can be a little stressful. Like, I've got to learn that before I can get to my next level. But I tell my students, I don't ever want our school to be a stressor for you. I want my school and our classes to be an outlet, a place to grow, a place to challenge yourself and enjoy yourself, have some fun, sweating, smiling, and learning, right? And growing yourself. So just be cautious, but make sure we bounce the class. So that core of the class, get on the plan, stay on the plan. Now this caveat, let's say that I've got a group lined up. We do stripes on belts. So I'll just kind of use like forms as an instance, an example. So everyone has patterns or movements, katas that they have to learn. And let's say that I have a heavy form emphasis planned. We're moving in close to maybe a belt testing, wanting to get some review done. But I look around my room and I've got 20 people and they all have their form striped. They've earned their marker on their belt that lets me know these guys already all know their form. But my plan is form heavy. What I might do at that point is this might be a point where I'm flexible in the class plan. And instead of staying on a heavy form focus, I might do something like this. Hey guys, let's all hit our form. Let me see it because it looks like y'all have all been killing it already. I trust my team made them earn their stripes. They should know it. Everyone demonstrates well here. I make a shift and maybe I move to their self-defenses or their sparring or another piece of the curriculum for that class. So that is a caveat to just stand on the plan no matter what. Sometimes that emotional intelligence, or maybe sometimes the plan you're running, the room's just flat and you can't get them going. Make a shift. It is okay to deviate from the plan, but it is generally better to have a plan and stick to it. It's easier to teach, easier to keep the class on path. And then one last thing I'll say, have it in your head. Try not to be going to the side looking at a paper to see your plan, 1. And 2, I've seen many instructors, okay, guys, do X, and they count through that set, and then they're going, well, I think next let's do, that is like you're, without saying it directly, saying, I'm unprepared, I'm unprofessional, I don't know what to do with you, and the plan alleviates that. You just go to the next step of the plan, the next step of the plan. So anyway, in that core of the class, make sure you're sticking to it, but also make sure you have a certain sense of flexibility in there if you need to make a shift. Number 5, it's kind of that final 3 to 5 minutes of the class. Leave them wanting more. Make that another high. Very exciting, high energy, kind of burnout sets where they're having fun, hitting bags or having some. It's energy. It's exercise with a purpose. It's conditioning with a purpose. During that last little bit, make sure you're spotlighting and delivering some kind of wins and shouts like, oh, Susie, you're killing it on that bag over there. Love the energy that you're putting out and the hard work you're putting in. Bobby, I just saw you knock the bag down. That's like, man, I haven't seen you do that in days. That's so powerful. I'm loving that. And give out those words of encouragement in that last piece of class. I'm not saying grind them for, 55 minutes and then give them a big hug at the end. You should be doing that through the class anyway, but really make sure that we're leaving them as much as we can on a high. When people see a performance in a class, from when I teach a class, it is a performance of a sort. People remember the beginning very commonly and the ending. They remember the high points, right? And so start with the bang, cycle the energy, and the class flow up and down with the energy. Boom, boom, boom. High and hard, slow down and dig into some technique and you get technical, then boom, 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 and then close on a high. Boom, we're energetic, closing with fun. And, I tell the instructors in our organization, I'm like, guys, I want, people, kids, but people to leave the school going, I can't wait to come back tomorrow and see what's going to happen next. And I believe that if we don't do that, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, great business aside, if we can't do that, our great business skills aren't going to matter. We got to have the mat. The mat is just the key, the core. It's what people come for, and we've got to deliver. And then in that last 3 to 5 minutes, make sure you're pre-framing the next class. And then another thing too, not just pre-framing, but kind of committing them on the way out the door. And what I mean by that is guys, you guys did an amazing job. I'm closing out. I make announcements. Maybe I have a mat chat talking about the theme. We're going to talk about accountability. You can count on me. Make sure that people can count on you, etc. Be dependable, responsible. So you do those things, and then you go, you are going to love what I have for you next time. And you kind of pre-frame that next class, and you can have that class. And the more it's pre-planned, the easier it is to pre-frame, right? So the more you have your plans prepared for your entire cycle, not just a class at a time, then your pre-frames become much easier. And then as people are walking out the door, I kind of pre-commit sometimes like, hey, you did good tonight. When do I see you again? And, obviously they're like, oh man, I've got to miss tomorrow, but I'll be back, day after tomorrow. Or they go out and they're like, I'll be back tomorrow. I can't wait for more. And that's kind of the response you want to have. And I know that seems like a lot, but guys, we're blessed. If you own a school or you're instructing in someone's school, you're so blessed to get this opportunity. We should teach and do things in our class that just make people want more and want to come back. And so hopefully through there, I hit on some nuggets in those 5 steps to help you to kind of see some things that you can do. But remember, I'm just going to kind of flash through the words again. Have a plan, have it in place, memorized, and make sure your team knows the plan. Get your mindset right. Make sure your head's in the right space, that you're happy, you're go-lucky. Life was rough yesterday. Maybe you lost your puppy dog, but remember, that was yesterday. Put that in your back pocket. When class is over, you can deal with that again, but just be your best mentally and emotionally while you have those students out there on the mat. That first 60 seconds to a couple of minutes of class, set the tone, be energetic, passionate, and on fire. The core of the class, stay on plan, cycle it up and down, bounce the energy in the room. That last 3 to 5 minutes, that, fifth part of that, high energy, fun drills to close it out strong. pre-framing the next class and maybe a little pre-commitment as they head out the door, like, hey, when do I see you again, etc. So use those 5 kind of parts and steps to begin if you're not doing class outlines and not doing class plans to help you to start making some class plans. And with that said, in the description, the podcast show description, there will be a link for a download for you to simplify those 5 steps and just something to help. If nothing else, if you get one little nugget out of it, we've done our work, and that's what I want. I hope for you guys to teach amazing classes. And let me remind you of this. You might be like, why do you care what my classes are like in my school? I care deeply. Number 1, because I care about you. Number 2, because I care about the people you serve. But number 3, when you reflect well on martial arts and do it amazing, someday someone might leave your town after an experience with you and move to my town. And I want them to continue martial arts and come talk to me and go, hey, I've done it. I love it. It's amazing. Can I come to you? Right? And so it's kind of the rising tide raises all the boats, man. We all need to be our best because we all reflect on each other. So anyway, start that class strong. Be intentional, but teach with a little bit of flexibility. Have that plan, be intentional with it, but have some flexibility and close your class out with a purpose. Leave them leaving smiling and excited about what happened. Hopefully, make it a goal to leave them leaving with the feeling in their heart and mind that they're like, man, that was great. I want to come back for more. And if you can do that, the business, I hate to say it, kind of takes care of itself. And so anyway, consistent excellence, makes great classes. Take some time and evaluate your 5 parts of your classes and see where you're at in those things. And then teach every class like it matters, because it does. You might teach someone one thing in that class that absolutely saves their life someday, like literally. I've had countless people come back to me and say, hey, I learned this in your class. This happened out on the street, and I was able to verbal judo my way out of that and got home safe and felt great. When you have those things happen, it makes it all worthwhile. So anyway, 5 parts to an amazing class. Go out there, be passionate, be thankful, be grateful for what we get to do, the amazing nation that we live that gives us the freedom to do these things. I hope that helped. Hope you picked up a couple of nuggets. Like it, love it, share it, review it, give us some thoughts, messages. Let us know what you would like to hear, because we would love to hear from you. I just love doing this with you guys, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you for tuning into the Team Chip Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget, subscribe, share, and or leave a review, because we need you. We appreciate you so much, and without you, we can't make this happen. Remember, consistency is the key to success, so go out there and never be outworked.